These are weird times we are living in, people. It looks like our whole reality is scripted. Hey guys, my name is Robert. I am from the Netherlands and I'm sitting on some information I've been wanting to share for a long time. The graphs I present are not published before, and there may just be a reason for that. I had to read down the things I am telling you for creating the vid. I never need to speak English, and therefore I would probably forget half of what I want to say, so forgive me if I don't sound natural. I've always been interested in sources for scientific claims and stumbled on something I could not believe. The World Health Organization provides Excel sheets which contain data about the incidence of all kinds of infectious childhood diseases and all kinds of vaccines. Now you're probably yawning and wondering what is so great about that. Well, when the media shows information about the relation between vaccines and a childhood disease, they provide us with a graph illustrating time trends for a single country, like the USA or England. But what about other countries, and what about the world as a whole? So the data was available and pretty much unused, and could there be a reason for that? It took me an insane amount of time to put this data together. Let me give you a short view of the data I compiled. Here's the vaccines and the childhood diseases. All the calculated data are created to work with. And you see this goes all the way down and down and down and down and down. Forget about the color coding. I created it to not make any mistakes. And then there's a lot of other data I collected to search for possible confounding factors in the relation between vaccines and the childhood diseases. They are all listed here. Then on the left we see where all the data is related to. Here's the country data and the years. And I collected data for each country and for each year. And I can scroll down for a long time. And we see these cell numbers increasing to well over 10,000. So, as you can imagine, it was quite tiresome. Here's my graph again, and now let me explain what it means. On the horizontal axis, we see the percentage vaccinated children, and on the vertical axis, we see the measles incidence. Like I said before, I used data from the World Health Organization, but it published measles cases as the total number of cases. And between countries, population sizes differ greatly, so I could not simply compare different countries. But luckily I stumbled upon the website from the World Bank, and this site contained data about population sizes and a lot of other factors for each country and for each year, like you saw in the Excel file. I used data about the number of measles cases and population sizes to calculate the number of measles cases per 100,000 population. Based on what the media tell us, we would expect lower vaccine rates to be associated with higher measles incidence, higher vaccine rate to be associated with lower measles incidence, and almost no measles cases when the percentage vaccinated children exceeds 95%. Now let's get back to my graph again. There are over 6,000 data points in the graph from all countries combined. Many countries reported 100% vaccine rate for several years, but except for a few numbers, the World Health Organization chose to label these as 99% vaccinated. This means that 99 and 100% vaccine rates seem to be interchangeable. Now let's talk about the results. You may not be able to tell it from the graph, but statistical software concluded there was a significant beneficial effect from the vaccine against measles risk. Based on such results, the media would probably say we found a strong beneficial effect from the vaccine against measles risk, without adding this perspective, of course. And they would add that people with another opinion should shut up, critics are tinfoilers, and hey, it's a done deal. But for those who want to see, I have additional information to put things into perspective. Statistical software can also add a so-called R-squared value to the graph, and this value indicates the percentage of which the vaccine is responsible for the change in measles rates. The value ranges from 0.00, which means no noticeable effect, to 1.00, which means the changes in vaccine rates were 100% responsible for the changes in measles incidence. And for those with the eyes to see, I ask for your attention in the following 3 examples. Here we see the R-squared value is 1. Notice that all the dots are completely in line with the trend line. This would mean that the vaccine would be completely responsible for the changes in measles cases. Then we have an R-squared of 0.5, which means the vaccine would be 50% responsible for the changes in measles cases. Notice that the dots are further away from the trend line. Now look at the final example and imagine it without the trend line. Your eyes would probably not be able to notice an effect because the dots are all over the place. The R-squared value is 0.05. which means the vaccine would be 5% responsible for the changes in measles cases. I had Excel add the R-squared value to my graph, and it was 0.05. Now ask yourself, is this what you would reasonably expect? Since I am a critical thinker, I try to imagine why an effect was found, or why a lack of an effect was found. And in this case, I was sitting in the chair of the person yelling that my data is BS. One thing I could imagine was that inclusion of small populations could decrease the effect size. And for that reason, I repeated my analysis, including only populations with over 1 million people. To a certain degree, this theory may be valid. For the R-squared value increased from 0.05 to 0.08. And from now on, I will work with the data excluding populations with less than 1 million people. Finally, I wanted to know what minimum level of vaccination would be needed in order to see any effect. And by any effect, I mean an R-squared value of 0.01 or a 1% effect. Now please let me explain the table. In the highest row I included all the data, and we see the R-squared value of 0.08, which translates to a beneficial effect explaining 8% of the changes in measles cases. In the second row I excluded data points referring to a percentage vaccinated children of 10% or less, and we see that the 8% beneficial effect remains. From then on, we see a stepwise decrease in the effect size. When more than 70% of the population was vaccinated, we only see a marginal beneficial effect of further increasing vaccine rates. And when more than 80% of children received their vaccine, well, just look. At an 80% vaccine rate, the R-squared value dropped below 0.005. It became 0.003, meaning a whopping 0.3% protective effect. Remember, the 99 and 100% vaccine rates both mean governments officially reported 100% of the children was vaccinated. Now guys, the evidence is crystal clear. There is no more denial. Vaccines almost eliminated the measles, and there are hardly any measles cases when 95 or more % of the children is vaccinated. Now serious guys, ask yourself what to do with this information. Many of you probably call BS on my video as soon as they saw the results, and another part of you will think it is interesting and may even want to share it with others. Now ask yourself how this video will be received. Will it only trigger anger? Then forget about it. Whatever you choose, be true to yourself. Show the video, give the other time to think about it, and then forget about any discussion on the topic. Just sit there and drink your coffee, or be excused and go for a walk or something. For we know where many discussions end, with us giving our energy away, again, to people who are incapable of taking in rational, simple arguments. People who reason everything away. People who get mad the moment our arguments become convincing. Forget about them. Those who can see cannot imagine that others cannot. So we constantly try to open their eyes, over and over again. These people seem to be robots, programmed to do certain things, programmed to regurgitate the script that is fed to them. But their programming is limited. It's like teaching a cleaning robot how to read a book. We can repeat ourselves until we drop. The robot cannot and will not ever understand. All it knows is its programming. In my next video, we will see what other factors were related to measles risk, like clean drinking water or a compromised immune system. And we will see if these factors modify the relation between vaccines and measles risk. People, I thank you for listening. My name was Robert, and I hope to see you again. Bye!